Hello everyone, this is Cari for Redesign with Prima, and today I'm just going to do a quick little flip on these fold-up little patio tables, I guess you would call them. I had primed them. They actually were a very dark wood, and I wanted to lighten and brighten these up. So I am spraying on a light neutral color. It's called Grain Sack, and I do the coats of paint thin, and I let them dry before I go in with the second coat. There's so many little intricate areas. It was just way easier to spray these rather than go in with the hand painting, which I did with a primer, and it took forever. So you can see they're really nicely covered. And then what I also do is go ahead and seal them. I also spray sealed them. Now I'm going in with a white glazing product called White Amazing Glaze by Granny Bees, but you can use any glaze that you choose. Now I just lightly brush the white over the surface, and because I sealed it before, it helps move that glaze around really, really nicely. Once I add it on, I just remove it with a soft cloth and go around little areas and make sure it doesn't drip, and then I move on to the next area. So this is actually a really nice way to lighten up a color and to give it kind of a rustic look. But glazing can be just such a fun technique and way to add character to any of your projects. It's very, very simple. And there's so many great glaze products out there that you could try and use. And this is really very, very simple. Now, if you're working in a lot of heat, you can go in with a light mister, like a water mister, and apply that to your surface and then go over it with the glaze. Because in the warmer days, it does tend to dry a little bit faster before you get time to work with it. But here it's a little bit cooler today, so I didn't have to do that, but that is just a little tip for you. And here I'm just adding it to the top, and I'm going in with my cloth and just removing the excess. And that's really all there is to it. And I don't mind that it's uneven. I kind of want it to look that way. I love this rustic look. I also want to mention that glaze does need to be sealed. So I do add a seal over that, and you can see what it looks like without and with the glazing. What a difference, huh? But it looks so good. I love it. And it lightened it up so perfectly. Next, I'm going in with a decor transfer by Redesign. It's called Petite Tile. I love this pattern. It's so pretty and simple, and it kind of reminds me of cottagecore. Or something you would have seen in your kitchen like back in the 70s, and I just love it. Our tubes come with instructions and a burnishing stick, and this particular set comes with 3 sheets of the same design, so you can do a larger project with it or smaller ones. Now we are discontinuing our tubes, our transfer tubes. We're going to flat packaging, so these are on sale now, and once they're gone, they're gone. So they're going to be discontinued, unfortunately. So if you want to shop for these transfers, please do so now before they're gone, and get your favorite designs. Go to redesignwithprima.com and grab a set or 2 for yourself. Now here I'm just cutting a line with my X-Acto knife across the middle because that's where the table comes apart, and I want to make sure that I cut the pattern before I start burnishing it on. Now you just take that stick that it comes with, and you just go over the design as firmly as you can. And with a design like this, with all those little dots, you just have to make sure that you just kind of brush over every little part of this transfer to make sure that it all goes onto your surface the way that you want it to. I'm just kind of removing the top protective sheet as I go so that I can kind of see what has transferred and what has not. So then if something hasn't transferred, I just lay that protective sheet back down and rub over it again until it stays put. There is adhesive on the back of these transfers, so that's what helps it stick to your surface. And then you can kind of, go over each little part very easily, and you don't have to worry too much. See there, a little bit of that circle was not going to go down, so I have to go over it again. and just check it. And I just try to do as much of that as I can. And like I said, if you pull it up and it comes with the protective sheet, just put it right back down and rub over it again. So now I've finished the one side and I'm just repeating the process on the other side. And if you notice in this video, like one side, the pattern is brighter than the other. That's because the one that's duller is actually already burnished down onto the surface. The brighter one is not yet down yet. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's a little bit of an indication that you know that your pattern has transferred. Is just because you can see like it's a little bit lighter. And there I'm pulling up and just working it still till I get that pattern all transferred to the surface. Now this is our polishing pad that we invented and made for the transfer specifically. So this helps make sure that there's no wrinkles or any bits that maybe didn't transfer 100%. It just makes sure that everything is down nice and evenly, and it also helps alleviate any kind of wrinkles and halos as well. But once you put your sealer over the transfer, the halos pretty much disappear anyway. Now I'm moving on to the bottom part of the table, and I wanted to add just a little bit of interest with a stencil. So this is called Victorian tile, and I'm using a bit of our chalk paste to add a little white pattern with this stencil. And all I'm doing is adding very little. You want your brush to be as dry as possible and have just a little bit on there. Otherwise it will kind of gunk up or deform like the pattern, so to speak. So I use my stencil brush from Finnabair. I love this brush. I use it all the time for stenciling. And you can see I'm just wiping back on the excess on that one little piece of paper there and going in and just dabbing. Now with the paste, I don't mind swirling the brush so much because it's a little thicker, so it's not going to run underneath the stencil like a normal paint would. So I'm more confident with just kind of swirling that pattern on there. And with the chalk paste, you can even add it a little thicker. The paste is meant to be dimensional if you wish it to be. And now I've moved outside. I'm doing the other side. I thought maybe I have better lighting outside, but it seems to be a little bit darker. Anyway, so now I'm repeating the same process on the other side of the table and just repeating that pattern again. Now with this is a smaller stencil from our Finnabair collection, so it's kind of nice for like smaller areas, but we have larger stencils, of course, for larger furniture. And there's the patterns. You can tell it's a little uneven. I wanted it to look rustic and not perfect. So don't hate me on the way that I stenciled, but I really wanted it to look uneven like that and kind of rustic. That was kind of the look I was going for with this little table. And I absolutely love how it turned out. This will be perfect for outside picnics and having guests over by the fire because they fold up and I can store them away and bring it out when I want to. So I hope you had fun watching this today, and everything I use will be in the description for you to reference. And thank you so much for watching and staying till the end. Please subscribe and like this video. We definitely will be doing a lot more DIYs in the future. And if you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see, please let us know in the comments. Have a great day.